Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Contemporary World, Week 15 virtual class lecture. And we shall be talking about the topic sustainable development. Okay, at the end of the module, you are expected to differentiate stability from sustainability and articulate models of global sustainable development. Okay, let us go into the details of the topic sustainable development. Well, the term sustainable development has acquired much popularity among scholars, politicians, public servants, and the civil population alike after the Brundtland Report by the World Commission on the Environment and Development, which is called WCED, which was presented in 1987. As defined by the Brundtland Report, sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Okay, as outlined by the WCED, critical objectives for environment and development policies following its concept of sustainable development are reviving growth, changing the quality of growth, meeting essentials needs for jobs, food, energy, water, and sanitation, ensuring a sustainable level of population, conserving and enhancing the resource base, reorienting technology and managing risks, and merging environment and economic in decision making. Okay, let us know sustainable development further. So later on, I will be showing you a video clip about the sustainable development goals, which were finalized during the UN meeting in 2015. And just to give you a glimpse of the 17 sustainable development goals, here is a photo. But again, later on, I will be letting you view the video that talks about the sustainable development goals as presented in the UN meeting. Well, what really is about sustainable development and how can you contribute in attaining the objectives and goals of the sustainable development? Okay, and after this, you should know how you would be able to participate in achieving the sustainable development goals because government and scholars have been on their toes in an attempt to attain sustainable development. Well, in today's era, and when you talk of climate change, you really cannot exempt talking about sustainable development. And well, during these times, there are challenges in politics, society, and particularly the environment, as I've said. What is that? Climate change, waste disposal, biodiversity, forestry, and have you heard and have you seen the white sand issue done in Manila Bay? Now, later on, can you say that it's really part of achieving the sustainable development here in the Philippines? Okay, others such as stability is undoubtedly sought after by nearly every single nation. And governments have been challenged to come up with ways to develop their communities without exploiting the natural resources and to craft policies that help achieve this goal. Look at this. Governments are challenged to come up with ways to develop communities without exploiting the natural resources and the craft policies that help achieve this goal. And again, that white sand or the dolomite thing that's been scattered around the shore of Manila Bay has been thought of, and it's all up to you to decide if we are not exploiting the natural resources through that project. The welfare of the people must also be in constant consideration in terms of development. Of course, that's actually the ultimate goal. The welfare of the people, the welfare of the mankind. Okay, as I've said, United Nations advocates education, and that's really it, no? To disseminate information regarding sustainable development that countries all over the world have integrated this action plan of the UN in their respective governments. The reason why this topic is also being included now in our textbooks and in our studies is because the best way for us to disseminate the information is by educating the public and educating the next generation, educating you, the future leaders of this country or of this world. For example, Canada instituted the Sustainable Development Education Program, SDEP. United Kingdom, for example, has the UK's Strategy for Sustainable Development, which aims to raise the awareness of the people through the integration of environmental policies into all aspects of government. And if you happen to be, for example, one of the officers of your student council in your campus, by coming up with a project of segregating, for example, the waste into biodegradable and non-biodegradable, and educating all your classmates or your schoolmates, um, making them aware of how to segregate your waste. Well, you are being part of achieving the sustainable development in your respective community or area. And you might have thought that that's just a small thing for you to do. Well, didn't you know that you are contributing and you are part of this call and advocacy, and you are advocating basically sustainable development goals. Okay, as part of our module, you are asked to differentiate stability and sustainability. So here it is. A sustainable environment is resilient enough to withstand man-made and natural challenges and can recover from such if needs arise. Sustainability leads to stability. Stability alone may not necessarily lead to sustainability. Stable environments are simply resistant to change, but somehow lack the element of resiliency that sustainable environments possess, because it is far easier for stable environments to become unstable in comparison to the possibility of sustainable environments becoming unsustainable. Were you able to get it? We'll go back to the second point. Sustainability leads to stability, but stability alone may not necessarily lead to sustainability. Okay? So, how to achieve sustainable development? The environment must be at the center of government actions. Constantly put into consideration the environment in the decision making and policy making process of a nation state. Okay, environment is actually the major point in achieving sustainable development. Governments can simultaneously advocate the protection, restoration, and preservation of the integrity of the Earth's ecological systems, develop and enact policies that situate environmental concerns, educate individuals about the importance and benefits of having secure, balanced, and enduring ecosystems, to make implementation of environment-focused policies and plans much easier. And you know what, class? After this discussion or after this uh, dealing with this topic, I am encouraging you, everyone, to please make a further research or find materials that would enhance your knowledge in in achieving the sustainable development, because basically it's us, you young people would really benefit if we would act into it as early as now. And we cannot just depend on the government or the agency that would tackle about policy making processes that involves the environment and the sustainability. I think in any way and in every way, we should have our part, we should have a major part, a major impact also in educating ourselves first, and thereby you would be able to know the importance and benefits of, of if you would really act into it as early as now. As I've said, you are young, you're the future leaders, and it is us who will benefit if we would really act into it as early as now. And what about food security? Well, we know that well, we know that a vital source of all of us humans, regardless of your race, regardless of our nationality, regardless of our religious affiliation, regardless of our economic status or our educational attainment, our vital resource is food. No, it is our basic necessity for survival. So therefore, it is important for every country or every nation to, well, especially us Philippines, to secure a constant supply of food for our consumption, for the consumption of the people. But let us define food security. Food security is defined as the physical and economic access at all times to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food for people to meet their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. And food security, as we all know, is a worldwide issue which must be given considerable attention. And we all know that food security really challenges us, Philippines, for example, or all some other countries with large population. And would you believe that China is also being challenged by this aspect? India, for example, also who has a large population. So, sabi nga, with a growing and persistent demand for food on both local, for example, international scale, no, the agricultural sector, and well, of course, some food corporations in our country or in any particular country that has an issue in food security must be able to meet demands by increasing production capacity and overall productivity. So, and they say nga na distribution of food, especially in a country such as us or underdeveloped countries, for example, is a solution to address food security issues. Although, syempre, this could lead also to even more problems and how would be able to ration food orderly. And they're looking into something, how could we would be able to lessen the challenges in food security. Well, international trade is viewed as a solution for potentially dampen the blows on food security. No, economic and agricultural reforms is also a viable a viable act in addressing food security issues. And how come food security issues are coming up? Well, they say that armed conflict could be one. Sabi nga, one of the contributing factors that could cripple and weaken food security is armed conflict. In the recent decades daw, no, international strife or conflict makes the food production and supplies in the country debilitated. Kasi it slows down. And how could you produce food if there's a war? Okay, how can you produce food, for example? How you would you able to go into the normal production of food if there are conflicts, okay, within that region, particularly, for example, in Mindanao, what happened there? Can you just imagine if there are bombings? How would you be able to get a normal production of foods? So this factor would weaken the food security. And how could you just imagine that the effect of food security is hunger is also the very main reason that leads to conflict that would increase shortage in food production. So that's so surprisingly that hunger leads to conflicts, leads to increased shortage in food. So food shortage is not only limited to rural areas, no, but is also an issue in the urban sectors, especially in countries with internal conflicts. Well, I have just as I just have mentioned a while ago, no? So lack of food is also one of the factor that ignited, basically based on the history, no? Lack of food was one of the factors that ignited the French Revolution. Okay, so if you would just go back to history, food is also the main reason why there is a revolution such as the French Revolution, no? And for example, the Venezuelan food crisis in our present era. So meaning lack of food could lead into something more serious. That's why food security should be able to address by the governing community or by the government agency. And yes, food plays an integral part role in maintaining a healthy and functioning and even peaceful domestic and international environment. So therefore, food security must be one of the priorities of any government in the world. How? Ensuring that the economy of a country can weather down storms will help diminish the adverse effects of food security issues. And also, I think for a country such an undeveloped countries or developing country which couldn't be able to address yet the issue on food security, okay, international network with countries can respond to the food security challenges of other countries.
This September, 193 countries will meet at the UN to adopt new global goals. These 17 goals provide a roadmap that will help the world achieve sustainable development. But what exactly is sustainable development and how does it affect us? Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. But what does that mean? Everyone understands the need to grow their economies, but not everyone takes into account the negatives that unbalanced economic growth can have on the environment and on people's well-being. It's time to change that by looking at the world in a different way. The Sustainable Development Goals will help us to do that. Sustainable development is about the big picture. It's about improving the lives of everyone, everywhere, and achieving all these things together. But it's also about the details. That means we want economies to grow, companies to thrive, and people to have decent work. We want to create new, innovative technologies, but not by harming the environment. We want everyone to have access to nutritious food regardless of where they live. We want affordable and quality education for everybody, not just a few. We want freedom of speech, but we don't want that to mean violence. But how can we achieve all of this, and where do we even start? Well, the 17 goals will mean member states, alongside civil society stakeholders and major groups, will be working together for the next 15 years, looking at ways we can do business differently so that everyone gains. With these 17 global goals as our guide, we can achieve sustainable development and live in a world where people and planet benefit. But we have to act now. This is the time for global action. To find out how you can get involved and learn more about the goals, go to www.un.org/sustainable development.
Okay, I think that's it. So please take note of the website that from the video, posted from the video, for you to be able to be aware of what are the current situation, what is the current situation with regards to addressing sustainable development programs or sustainable development goals. Okay, I think that's it.